1692, Salem Village, Massachusetts. A cold wind whispers through the trees. Winter's grip is tight, but something else chills the air. Fear. An unseen evil casts long shadows. It begins with a group of young girls, their laughter replaced with screams. They writhe and contort, gripped by a mysterious affliction. Their words will ignite a firestorm that will consume the village. The doctor arrives, his face etched with concern. He examines the girls, searching for an earthly cause. He finds none. The diagnosis? Witchcraft. This terrifying word hangs in the air like a shroud. The villagers are devout, their lives governed by faith and fear of the unknown. In their minds, the devil walks among them. The accusations begin, whispered at first, then shouted from rooftops. Fingers point to the outcast, the different, the vulnerable. Tituba, a slave, becomes the first target. Her exotic tales and rituals feed their suspicions. Then, others are accused. Sarah Good, a beggar known for her sharp tongue. Sarah Osborne, an elderly woman who defies social norms. The trials begin, a desperate attempt to purge the evil that has gripped their souls. Salem in 1692 was a community on edge. The shadow of the unknown loomed large. The settlers lived in constant fear of Native American attacks, fear of disease, and fear of the devil himself. Their Puritan beliefs painted the world in stark terms: good versus evil, light versus darkness. Life was hard, the wilderness unforgiving. They found solace in their faith, but it also bred a rigid social order and a deep suspicion of anything that challenged their beliefs. In this climate of fear and paranoia, accusations of witchcraft found fertile ground. The Salem witch trials did not emerge in a vacuum. They were a product of their time, a dark chapter in American history fueled by religious extremism, social tensions, and the very human need to find a scapegoat for the unexplainable. The Salem courthouse becomes a stage for terror. One by one, the accused are dragged before the court. Their accusers, the afflicted girls, writhe and scream, claiming to see the spirits of the accused tormenting them. This spectral evidence is enough to seal their fate. Sarah Good, as Sarah Good. I am innocent, I know not what these girls speak of. Reverend Samuel Parris, as Reverend Samuel Parris. The devil is among us and we must root out his servants. Tituba, as Tituba. I tell you I did not harm those children, they lie. Judge Samuel Sewell, as Judge Samuel Sewell. Order in the court, we must hear the evidence. Ann Putnam Jr., as Ann Putnam Jr. I saw her spirit, she torments me even now. Bridget Bishop, a woman known for her independent spirit and colorful attire, becomes the first victim. She is hanged on June 10, 1692. Her death is just the beginning. The accusations spiral out of control. Neighbors turn on neighbors, friends on friends. No one is safe. Reverend Samuel Parris, as Reverend Samuel Parris. Even Reverend George Burroughs is not above suspicion. Reverend George Burroughs, a respected minister, finds himself accused. His calm demeanor in the face of death only strengthens the suspicions against him. He is hanged on August 19th, his last words a powerful declaration of his innocence. The trials become a macabre spectacle fueled by fear, vengeance, and the insatiable hunger for power. As the trials progress, the accusations grow increasingly bizarre and outlandish. The afflicted girls, now celebrated as vessels of God's will, hold the village captive. Their every word is taken as gospel, their every twitch and shudder interpreted as evidence of witchcraft. Some historians believe the girls were suffering from ergot poisoning, caused by a fungus that can grow on rye bread. Others suggest they were experiencing a form of mass hysteria, fueled by the oppressive atmosphere of Salem. Whatever the cause, their behavior had devastating consequences. The trials reached their peak in September 1692, with 19 people hanged as witches and several others dying in prison. The jails overflow with the accused, their cries for mercy echoing through the streets. But amidst the madness, a flicker of doubt begins to emerge. Section 5. Spectral Evidence, a Haunting Mystery. Central to the Salem witch trials was the use of spectral evidence. This meant that the accusers could claim to see the spirits of the accused harming them, even if the accused were nowhere near. This spectral evidence was often bizarre and unsubstantiated. The afflicted girls claimed to see the accused shape-shifting into animals, flying through the air, and inflicting invisible torments upon them. The reliance on such flimsy evidence highlights the irrationality and fear that gripped Salem. It also raises questions about the true nature of the girls' afflictions. Were they genuinely experiencing supernatural phenomena, or were they cleverly manipulating the court for their own gain? the use of spectral evidence was eventually outlawed, but not before it had sealed the fate of many innocent people. It remains one of the most puzzling and disturbing aspects of the Salem witch trials. Section 6. The trial's tragic end and lingering questions. As quickly as it began, the hysteria that gripped Salem starts to recede. Doubts creep in. Accusations against prominent citizens raise alarm bells. Governor William Phips, initially supportive of the trials, begins to question the validity of the evidence. In October 1692, Phips orders a halt to the trials. He appoints a new court, one that prohibits the use of spectral evidence. The tide has turned. Many of the accused are released, but the damage is done. Lives have been lost, families torn apart, and a community forever scarred. In the aftermath, a sense of shame and regret settles over Salem. The trials become a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria, religious extremism, and the abuse of power. But even today, centuries later, the Salem witch trials continue to captivate our imaginations, leaving us with more questions than answers. Section 7. Beyond the Gallows, Searching for Answers. The Salem witch trials remain one of the most enduring mysteries in American history. Centuries later, historians and researchers continue to grapple with the events of 1692, seeking answers to the many unanswered questions. Why did the trials happen in Salem? What motivated the accusers? Was there any truth to the claims of witchcraft? Some theories suggest economic and social tensions played a role, with marginalized members of society targeted as scapegoats. Others point to the psychological impact of living in a constant state of fear and uncertainty. Whatever the explanation, the Salem witch trials serve as a chilling reminder of the fragility of reason in the face of fear and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. The Salem witch trials have left an indelible mark on our collective consciousness. From Arthur Miller's play The Crucible, which used the trials as an allegory for McCarthyism, to countless books, films, and television shows, the events of 1692 continue to fascinate and horrify us. Salem itself has become a destination for those seeking to connect with this dark chapter in American history. Tourists flock to the Salem Witch Trials Memorial, the Witch House, and other historical sites, eager to learn about the trials and the people whose lives were forever changed by them. The Salem witch trials serve as a reminder of the power of belief, the dangers of mass hysteria, and the importance of critical thinking and due process. The Salem witch trials, though a dark chapter in American history, offer valuable lessons for our own time. They remind us of the dangers of unchecked fear, the importance of due process, and the need to question authority. The trials serve as a stark reminder of what can happen when fear and suspicion are allowed to run rampant. They teach us to be wary of scapegoating and to value reason and evidence over blind faith or accusation. The legacy of Salem is a call to protect the vulnerable, to stand up for what is right, and to never forget the lessons of the past. It is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure, and justice, though delayed, can ultimately prevail. The Salem witch trials, though they took place over 300 years ago, continue to resonate with us today. They serve as a cautionary tale about the dangers of mass hysteria, religious extremism, and the abuse of power. The trials also remind us of the importance of critical thinking, due process, and the presumption of innocence. They challenge us to confront our own prejudices and to stand up for what is right, even when it is difficult. The legacy of Salem is a complex one, filled with both darkness and light. It is a reminder of the fragility of human nature, but also of our capacity for compassion, forgiveness, and growth. The sun sets on Salem, casting long shadows across the town. The stories of the accused still echo through the streets, a haunting reminder of a dark chapter in American history. But Salem is more than just a place where tragedy unfolded. It is a symbol of resilience, of the human spirit's ability to learn from its mistakes and to move forward. The Salem witch trials may forever be shrouded in mystery, but their lessons are timeless. They remind us to be vigilant in the face of injustice, to question authority, and to never allow fear to dictate our actions. May the shadows of Salem serve as a constant reminder to choose reason over fear, compassion over judgment, and justice over vengeance.